Hi everybody, welcome to the signal box today. It's great to have you with me making another video for you guys to enjoy today, and I hope you're all well and good out there. A big shout out to my regular subscribers and viewers. Thank you very much for all your support on the channel. You make the channel what it is, and if it's your first time here and you like what you see, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe if you wish to. Okay, having said that, I've been really busy today. It's been one of those very busy Saturdays where I set the railway up, as you see before you, 3 hours late today because a lot was going on this morning and some bits and pieces just flew into the mix and I had to deal with those one at a time. One of them being was a couple of days ago I glued the support brackets for the canal extension in place. That one there, and then that one way up there. And my control shelf, which I designed and built, which is all my switches and everything there. I'll just come out the shot a little bit. There we go. Normally it sits quite flush up against the edge of the baseboard there, or the Scenic extension that I built additionally on the edge of the baseboard. That normally butts up to there, but now you've got these in the way. There's no chance of doing that. And it was sitting rather precariously on the edge of my support tables, and obviously it would have fallen on the floor. Didn't want to do that, so what was the answer? It needed some support. So I designed and built, come down here, I designed and built these legs, which are these things here, out of some offcuts of wood. I've painted them as well. So we've got a kind of a support bracket thing going on with these legs, and they just screwed either side the top of the control shelf, so everything is supported. So now I can afford at least to set it on the edge. Well, I'll show you how far it sits on the edge, literally like that. It could go in a bit further actually. I'll move it in a little bit further, just like that, as Tommy Cooper used to say, just like that. Yeah, so that's quite comfortably sat on the edge of the table now, and it's resting on those legs that I designed and built earlier this morning, which took up a big chunk of my time when I should have been running trains, but hey ho, these things happen. And like I said, that's firmly on the table there, so it's not gonna fall off. It's all resting on there. Come over the other side, you might get a bit of view of it. Yeah, see, just comes off there like that a little bit. But yeah, I mean, this is extremely strong and sturdy, so it takes the weight of the controller, and more importantly the whole thing. It has to, otherwise, you know, it'd be disaster. So that's not in danger of falling off on the floor anymore. That's well supported, as you can see there. So yeah, happy with that. More importantly, it gives us space now to put our extension in when it's ready. I'm going to be starting that in about 2 weeks time actually, guys, so I just wanted to share that with you, why I've had to put this design of shelf support system, because these brackets, a bit of a silly design fault by me really. I didn't realise, well, I kind of did realise that it might be the case, and hey presto, but it's okay because we got round it. And more importantly, I can show you a test fit of what it will look like in place. Now it's going to look different obviously Scenic wise, because I've got to put the realistic water in, the static grass and some bits and pieces and some weathering and stuff, but I'll show you how it goes. And the great thing about balsa wood, it's so lightweight, so I'll show you how it goes. It literally just slots in like that. So if you've got a three-dimensionally, imagine this will be transformed. There'll be a little bit of static grass here, some iron railings going over these bridge sections here. This will be all painted and filled in with resin and coloured water systems, and static grass here, static grass along here, a few trees. Yeah, and that will look really nice once it's all done. But like I said, the beauty of working with balsa wood, it's like, no wonder people make aircrafts and boats out of the stuff. It really is very, very good, more so aircraft, but it's so lightweight. You can just, you know, as opposed to this thing weighs an absolute ton now. It's quite an effort for me to lift this on my 2 tables by myself each Saturday morning, but I do it. But you know, it's what do you do for a hobby? Anyway, enough of that going on. Let's run some trains, shall we? Or a train. I've got 622 over in the platform there. She is now complete. She's got a virtually brand new chassis fitted up this morning. The chap that sold me the replacement chassis on eBay, I had a good look at the pictures and everything on it, so there was no chance of being had a second time. And when it came in the post this morning, it was nicely packaged up. I opened it up and everything was absolutely, if in my opinion, it had probably been never used. It was a really, and it is a really beautiful, very silky smooth, free running, very good condition Margate A4 chassis. And I didn't have to do anything to it apart from I gave the axles a quick scooch out with some contact cleaner, but they were clean anyway, but just as a safe measure. And then I re-oiled it a little bit. The con rods, valve gear and everything on it are silky smooth, so I just needed a little bit of oil, not too much. And I gave the motor, the tender, a bit of TLC in terms of lubrication. The commutator and the motor was actually very clean, so I didn't need to touch that. That was an amazing thing. Obviously the brushes and springs as part of the system of the motor there were in very good condition, and I just needed to clean the wheels underneath, that pickup wheels that pick up for the motor, and that was really it. So I'll let the loco speak for itself. Have a look at this. And she's just leaving now. So here is a snapshot of the Hornby catalogue in 1979. So we've got 6022 Mallard in Brunswick green, hauling that rake of Pullman coaches behind her. Very effortlessly around my railway today, no problem at all, those 4 coaches. I would actually put 13 behind her if I had enough coaches, and I wouldn't doubt for a moment she'd pull those. Very, very good motor in it, and like I said, a nice clean chassis. And look at that. And then on track 2, whizzing around there, actually got to slow it down a little bit, we've got the Class 29 Bobo diesel, which was also out in the 1979 catalogue range. That one's slowing down a little bit. But yeah, that A4, as you can see in here, is running very sweetly. It's not noisy. It's just getting on with it. and those wheels are very, very shiny. Doing what an A4 does. Yeah, look at those wheels there. Look how nice and clean those wheels are. Wow. I do like sparkly wheels, not on a loco. More so the flange side, not the surface side. But some people would say, oh, the flanges are a bit too sparkly, they should be weathered and stuff like that. On my Hornby Merlin, I've really got a lot of grime on the wheels there for a reason. But this is absolutely mint, and this is how it's supposed to be as a vintage model as well. Actually reminds me of, you know, the Hornby 003 rail stuff, the old Hornby 00 Silver King, which was a 3-rail A4 little machine, and this reminds me of one of those Hornby 00 A4s, 3-rail ones. I think there was Silverlink, I think there was Silver King, and they were both in Brunswick green. And I think this reminds me of one of those 3-rail models for some reason. It just has that Hornby 00 look about it, but it's still a very, very lovely thing, and I'm very, very happy now that she's running on my railway today after all that bad luck I had with it originally. Right folks, I think it's time to jump in the time machine and turn the clock back to 1979 properly. What do you reckon? So both the items running around my railway today are all from 1979. The Hornby Duchess of Sutherland Express passenger set here in all its glory. There she goes. Still a very, very favourite model of mine, the whole thing. And again, it reminds me of Christmas Day 1980, when I woke up Christmas morning and I got this. And as old as I am now, I've had some good Christmases in the past, but that's always been my most favourite treasured Christmas, that morning waking up and getting that. That was just amazing. Wow, that little Class 29 is really galloping now. Let me slow that one down. And those TTA wagons behind that Class 29, again, they were all in the 1979 catalogue range from Hornby. And the brake van in the back was also available in 1979. It's funny actually, because the brake van on the rear of that tank train there on track 2, they were so common in BR days. You saw them everywhere, and as I mentioned before, I'll say it again, where I grew up in East London, my nearest railway yard was Temple Mills in Stratford, well, stroke Leighton. And I remember going across Ruckholt Road Bridge and overlooking the Temple Mills East, all the sidings, the fans of sidings, and seeing rakes and rakes and rakes of TTA wagons and loads of those little brake vans in the back there. Always a popular sight. I think for me, when I was a boy, I used to go over to Hackney Marshes of a Sunday morning and watch the trains, specifically the little 08 diesel shunters, backwards and forwards, shunting TTA wagons always. It was the sheer size of things like the buffers and the wheels and how big and chunky things were, and I thought, I wish I could hold that in my hand. And then when Hornby Railways came into my life, it made it possible. And even today, as a grown-up collector and general railway enthusiast, having something in your own hands that you can hold, and it's a scaled down memory of something that you remember from your childhood, the full-size grown-up things, is just what partly makes the hobby so fun and enjoyable. It is for me. Beautiful. You know, one of the things I was actually quite pleased about when I started doing some serious scenic work in terms of putting the WW Scenic static grass layering system on my layout and adding some flowers, as you can see there. It does really give it a nice country, rural feel to it, I think. I never wanted to build a very sort of modern cityscape type layout with modern tower blocks and flats, and you know, people have been there, done that. It's out there on YouTube, people's layouts, Everard Junction being one of them. But my little layout, it's got a country feel to it, because someone who's grown up all his life in the city, the countryside is always a welcome sight for me, whether I go by train or somewhere to see the countryside. It's a lovely getaway from the city life, I think, sometimes. And funny enough, speaking of branch lines, guys and girls, this year is the 80th anniversary of a certain very, very famous railway engine. Somebody I grew up with really a lot as a child, that helped my influence in trains, and I think I hear him coming now. So it's the 80th anniversary this year of this fellow. Good old Thomas. I never actually got round to collecting all of the rest of the Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends range from Hornby. You can get them out there on eBay, but they are ridiculously pricey. I've seen people asking like over just close to £200 for a Gordon. If it's in the box, even more. I quite like the Bachmann ones because the eyes move on the Bachmann ones, but this is my original Thomas the Tank Engine complete set, and this is one of the last sets that Hornby ever made, and they stopped making them then, and they handed it all over to China. Well, it was all made in China originally, but the Thomas range by Hornby has been discontinued now for a couple of years, so if you see it on eBay and it's in good nick, and you like Thomas, get it, why not? I bought this when Hornby was starting to announce they were going to stop making Thomas and Friends models and sets. So I initially bought this because at the time my little girl Grace was a toddler, and I thought I'd get her into trains because she was coming upstairs where I used to live into the railway room, and she used to spend moments in there with me, just looking and being memorised by everything. And I thought I'll get her a Thomas the Tank Engine set, and I can set it up for her and, you know, get her into Thomas. But I used to run it on my old layout, and there's actually footage on my channel here of it running about on my old layout, but it never came to be. And she's just grown up now, she's almost 12 this year, and she's into girly stuff, and she's not into Thomas, but she does like trains. She likes, she calls them puff puffs, the steam trains that are out there, and specifically the ones at the Swanage Railway, where we sometimes go for the summer. She loves to go down there, for that's the main reason, to ride behind the steam engine, and why not? But this little guy is still going strong. Happy birthday, Thomas. I'll just get one more shot of Thomas coming through the tunnel there and through that little flowery scene there, which is quite nice. Right, ladies and gents, that's all from me today. From me and Thomas, of course, and Annie and Clarabelle, and the rest of the railway engines that appeared in today's video. We hope that you enjoyed watching the trains today, and I hope you enjoy watching them. But do stay tuned for the updates with the canal section I showed you guys today, because that is taking place in about a week or two, when I get the materials, and more importantly when I get the time. Today being Saturday in the United Kingdom, and I don't get a Saturday often to myself. Well, I do, but I always get called away to do other jobs for other people and bits and pieces, namely my mum. I don't mind, but sometimes, you know, you don't get time to play trains. I don't mind really. Well, she's the financial benefactor of my model railway. Mallard over there, sitting underneath the coaling stage, which obviously, as I explained, I repaired the chassis and got everything working again. As you see, she runs so sweetly now. But that was a present, and a thank you present for doing a few jobs a couple of weeks ago for my mum. So she's got part ownership in Mallard, I suppose. Anyway, as I mentioned, I'll get the canal going when I get round to it, because I don't have enough time in the week to do all this. I'm a really busy dad in the week. I get up really early in the morning, and Monday to Friday I'm on call, on duty for the little one. Well, she's not little, she's 12, she's almost taller than me. But yeah, I'm just busy Monday to Friday. I don't have time to get this set up and everything. So what I do though is during the week, if I have a spare hour or two in the morning, I do little projects, like little bits of tiny things I do. But to get things running like this on a weekend is what I do on a Saturday. Sadly, I didn't have that much time today, because it just got caught up in making those legs down there for that, and also bits and pieces that went on today, so I just didn't get much of a time. But what I've done today, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll be back soon with another video. Oh, just a quick shout out and update to everybody. Pay attention, because I have officially got the invoice in from Accurascale for the J67 Great Eastern buck jumper tank engines that I've waited and pre-ordered since last year. They are ready, and they will be on their way very soon. I've got one more on pre-order with Rails of Sheffield, and in fair shout out to Rails of Sheffield, because I phoned them yesterday and I said, oh, Accurascale just actually invoiced me for the two that I've ordered through them, and the one outstanding that I've got through you. Do you want the money now? And they turned around and said, well, Accurascale haven't notified us of them being released as of yet, so they might do yours first, and maybe in a week or two we'll invoice you for the other one. So that suits me fine, but I know they're on the way, and my goodness, that will be one hell of a video when it comes out on the channel. You won't want to miss that, so please do stay tuned for the updates, because when we get those little buck jumpers, that little bit of Stratford mania 30A style going around my railway, I'll be a happy chappy. Anyway, that's it from me, and that's it from Thomas. So Thomas is still going, look at that. Right, okay, so I'll leave you with these shots now, and I'll say goodbye, and thank you so much for watching today, guys. I hope you enjoyed everything, and I will see you soon in the next video at the signal box. You take care now. All the best. Bye bye.